My lawyer called me and said, hey man, we got a problem. You haven't paid taxes in 7 years. So he said, man, that's tax.
Yet again, my legal counselor called me, said, hello man, we got an issue. You haven't paid charges in 7 years. So he said, man, that is tax avoidance. You can go to jail. I wound up owing 22 million. Wow, 22 million with the punishments diversion this evening called him and asked him what he empowers. This is in spite of the fact that Steve Harvey doesn't have to figure about living in vehicle and searching for money to endure this day. Evidently, he actually has a ton of monetary issues, and one of them is presently compromising the television tycoon to lose every one of his reserve funds and declare his Chapter 11. We should figure out how the individual with a great total assets of $200 million may, before long, wind up nearly neediness, and what occasions had prompted this critical circumstance. Hey everybody, and welcome back to Celeb Live Station. Steve Harvey is an American humorist, money manager, grant-winning show host, and performer who has a total assets of $200 million. He originally turned out to be broadly popular as a professional comic during the 1980s, and he is of now the most compelling daytime television persona in America anyway. Behind this noteworthy veneer, they're concealing obscure fakes, as it's accounted for that Steve experiences serious difficulties with the law in light of his tax avoidance plans. No one can live under this measure of pressure. It's basically impossible that he can pay to back charges, pay his flow burdens. Well, it generally felt like Steve Harvey broke confidential of making it from clothes to the wealth, and this man gave such countless persuasive discourses about trying sincerely and being straightforward that you never think him in playing filthy, despite everybody's good faith. I simply need to take note of that. This sort of conduct is hailed in this industry. Well, it seems like specific individuals like Steve Harvey accept that they are over any regulations and decides that are forced on common residents in view of their high-profile EVIP status, and it damages to realize that in any event, having sufficient cash to never work a solitary day in his life, Steve actually runs a few obscure plans to keep more money in his pockets anyway. This time it's quitting any funny business, and as Steve remarked on the new issue, I put my significant other down and she cried and I held her and I told her it would have been okay. I plan to get us out, and you think this is whenever Steve Harvey's first name springs up comparable to a few full exercises. Let me remind you about the time in 2017 when the television have was blamed for misrepresentation by his own representative ex-worker named Vincent DeMox sued the television big shot for extortion. In his recording, he guaranteed that Harvey scammed him in a terrible arrangement by taking a large number of dollars Vincent had raised for Harvey's cause. I realized this gathering pledges would have been extraordinary. Vincent was recruited to raise a few $1,000,000 for the Steve and Marjorie establishment, and as he said, the renowned television have guaranteed him a decent commission for accomplishing the objective, and because of this mission, Vincent was guaranteed 12.5% of all that he got anyway. In the end, Vincent asserted that Harvey would not pay him by any stretch of the imagination, and clearly he kept every one of the benefits and dispatched for him, as well as his better half Marjorie, and happened with his life as he anticipated that Vincent should essentially disregard the cash. All of this data, however, that I just gave you that you won't recollect well. It appears as though Steve's rich style requires a ton of work yet, not that genuine work that he television have discusses in his inspirational talks, yet the in-the-background exercises that permitted him not to cover duties and take the cash from individuals who worked for him. Assuming you're in this industry and you carry on like a doce, you will be dealt with like outright eminence. He may be playing it right yet. The entire world definitely knows how voracious Steve Harvey is, and he will get anything to keep more cash flow in pockets. The as of late uncovered proof uncovered the sand privileged insights and shameful allegations behind the television ruler achievement, and obviously his whole realm is based on untruths and misrepresentation. In a stunning dossier of fixed reports spilled to the media, Harvey is blamed for utilizing shabby terrorizing strategies, screwy sackmen, and employed folks to take care of his grimy responsibilities, all to cheat and enhance himself. As one source remarked, the further you dig and the further you investigate Steve's confidential past, the seriously stunning it turns out to be. Honestly, there doesn't appear to be one single sliver of conventionality to him as a man, father, spouse, or performer now, with new proof coming to play. Steve might have the option to lose all his abundance in a second, and evidently he trusts that through difficult work as before, he'll have the option to recuperate from his ebb and flow monetary pressure. Emma, go to work. I took each satire gig in this nation, yet dislike the crowd is prepared to fill his pocket. By and by, and many fans all around the virtual entertainment review his past grimy exercises that the television magnate had made to bring in more money. As one individual remarked, "I've never loved that wretched grimy canine since he did how he treated Bernie McIntosh," and another client added it. "I've expressed this before. I wouldn't allow Steve Harvey to offer guidance to my canine, and he wedded dreadful disgrace on him, yet karma is coming." And keeping in mind that on the screen Steve Harvey assumes a part of a relationship master his own demeanor towards others, and how he continually deludes them just demonstrates the other thing. Recall his profoundly chaotic separation with his second wife, Mary, with Steve fundamentally burglarized her and left with nothing monetarily. "My life is in a ruin." That is totally obvious. Mary Harvey and Steve's scandalously harsh separation was settled back in 2005, yet as per this lady, she is as yet managing harming and damaging impacts from their fight over cash out. In their tile, she says she's been speculation regarding taking drug medication to never awaken, yet need to take up plenty of pills to keep her psychological state all together. He had the option to control what is going on to his advantage, and it happens Mary even chose to get her cash from Steve by suing him and requesting a robust amount of $60 million, saying that her ex did her messy. "Steve Harvey owes me $50 million, and I need him captured for abusing my social liberties. I need him accused of FA sacred rights infringement, distorting records, prevarication, scorn of court, misappropriation, blackmail, and plot for how he's treated me. I need to see Steve Harvey in a correctional facility." Yet Steve was holding to his cash and never believed that a solitary dime should leave his pockets and go to his ex, obviously with having sufficient influence and abundance to quiet and pay off anybody. Steve utilized his associations with his own advantage, and at last this claim was excused. His attorneys me and his group of attorneys and his escort, and you know he's a man with the influence. He's in 60 business sectors. He's composed these. Now general society may not have the foggiest idea about the subtleties and the aggregate sum of claims that Steve Harvey has been managing since his vocation took off, yet the main thing that we know without a doubt up to this point, he won each and every body of evidence against him, or the data about these cases vanish everlastingly. In 2018, a wellness model sued Harvey over an episode of his show, during which the television have made her dress all the more provocatively to fit a particular craftsmanship. Evidently, after the episode was circulated, the visitor was stunned by the way Steve's makers altered photographs of her to make her look all the more purposely provocative. She was a single-parent whose loved ones emerged and said she just dressed too hot. The young lady said that the experience left her inclination embarrassed, disparaged, and abused. Anyway, at first she requested too great many pay for her ethical experiencing. The further destiny of this claim is obscure. Clearly Steve Harvey managed it like he's utilized to anyway. This time, he's cornered with another insane plan, and it seems like there can be no way out, and powerful companions who can help him attitude of like in the event that